You're listening to Season 5, Episode 4 of the Girl Talk Podcast, brought to you by our friends at Fox Toyota of East Tennessee. Hello there. My name is Carol.
And I'm Kelly.
And I'm Tricia.
So glad that you have joined us today for the Girl Talk Podcast. If you have been trying to get healthy, you know, when we put this topic on the board, I was like, this is my entire life. My entire life I've been on a diet.
Likewise.
Yeah, I've been doing aerobics since sixth grade.
Since sixth grade?
Yeah,
okay,
sure.
yeah.
Right.
Well, I went through a period, like I did the freshman 15, only that I think I did the freshman 50. I missed the enunciation on the 15, and I just did the freshman 50 because, you know, you're very active in high school, or I was. I played sports, and then I didn't play anything in college, so I kind of slowed down. And since then, I've kind of been on this hamster wheel of trying to find the next big thing that works, and I think we as women do that, you know, trying to find something that's going to work. And so today we're going to be talking about how to get healthy, how to start right where you are. And I will tell you, you changed the entire game for me a couple of years ago when we were having a conversation, because you took so much pressure off. So I'm going to put you totally on the spot right now.
Oh, okay.
And you started to speak into me, like, because I think there's this idea that if we can't run a 5K today, that whatever we do doesn't count. If it's not long enough, intense enough.
If there's no T-shirt for it.
If there's no T-shirt. I love the T-shirts, though. I will do just about anything for a T-shirt.
I know.
But I think we discount our efforts when it comes to getting healthy and healthier. And you really changed the game for me, because a couple years ago we were having a conversation. It was just one of those things kind of passing in the hallway, but it was like I heard angels singing, you know. Because I know, right?
No pressure here.
I know, right? You said to me, you said, whatever you do today, you did it.
Oh, beautiful.
Like, celebrate that.
Yeah.
And I was
it's
like,
an accomplishment.
what?
Yeah, yeah.
Because my tendency was to come in and we would start talking about exercise, and I'd be like, I worked out yesterday, but I couldn't do this, and I couldn't do that, and I couldn't do this. And you were like, no, we're going to talk about what you did do. Tell me what you did do. And that started my process of changing the way that I thought about exercise, about eating, you know, that you start where you are.
Yeah.
You know, none of us, I mean, when our kids start and do something for the first time and they're terrible at it, we don't go, oh, you should probably quit.
Right.
No.
Like when little kids learning to walk. Well, you didn't get that there, Junior.
I mean, that was a good try, but you're a terrible walker. You fell flat on your face.
Right.
Nobody says that.
No.
If you do, James Dobson shows up at your front door for
He
some reason.
should.
Yeah.
Focus.
But nobody does that. But we encourage them. We find things to help them. We hold their hand. And yet, when it comes to our own situations or our own lives, if we fail one time, we're like, man, that's it. I can't do it.
Yeah.
And all the yada, yada, yada that goes on in your head, right?
Yeah.
So it was a game changer for me, because you helped me kind of change the trajectory of how I was thinking about exercise, eating right, and weight. Weight was a big thing for me. I have watched the scale for years. Do you know I haven't stood on a scale besides the doctor's office in probably 3 years?
I think that's very healthy.
Because
To not do that.
every single week I was like, oh, I'm up 0.3 pounds.
Yeah.
And so then I would starve myself to death and gain 6 pounds in a week. You know, and it just became this crazy thing.
Yep. And those digital scales make it worse.
Right.
Because you
They
can
give you
see
the point.
the 0.5 and the 0.3 you've gained.
Right. And then they sync to your phone and make you feel guilty for eating a double-barrel cheeseburger at the Harvest Drive-In in Marion, North Carolina. Anyway, not that I've done that, but
That was
not
a
that
little
I've done that.
specific.
Yeah, it was. But let's talk. Let's all rewind all the way back, because I told you where I am in my journey and in my story, and it wasn't until weight wasn't important anymore that I actually began to lose a little bit of weight and felt better about myself. You base it more on how you feel. So let's talk about that, because you've been in extra. You know the psychology of it. You know that the mind is important. So we're going to kind of lean on you during this episode.
I don't
because
do
you're
too
so
much
good at-
leaning, but I'll tell you my experience.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing I'm an expert on, is how I've kind of walked through it. Weight has always been an issue for me since I can remember. I was just I grew up, and I don't know if I just wasn't active enough or if I liked the food that my grandmother cooked, which was amazing, or what, but I just tended to be a little, I was heavier, and I was heavier than all the people that I went to school with.
Right.
And, you know, you notice that. I remember I tried gymnastics. I was the worst at it, but I tried gymnastics and I squeezed into that little pink leotard thing, and I looked around at all the other girls and their bodies, and they were so different than mine. And I just immediately felt shame. And so I think my appearance and my body weight was loaded for me from early on. And I wasn't kidding. I was taking aerobics classes with the middle-aged women and beyond when I was in 5th, 6th grade. I would go to this place and I'd take classes. I so much wanted to have the body that I admired on many of my friends. And my best friend was like stick thin. And so the two of us together were like funny looking because she was stick thin and I was a little rounder. And it just was a constant thing on my mind. I actually had a time in my life that I went through an eating disorder because it was so painful to me. When I went to college, you say you gained the freshman 15. I was so terrified of that that I restricted my food to the point of really, I was at one point, are you ready? 84 pounds.
Oh, my goodness.
84 pounds. And I thought I kind of looked good for the first time in my life. And I was sick. And I ended up having to go to counseling and having to get a lot of prayer and treatment. And I had prayer from some powerful people that helped push me out of that. But I think I had to go through it before I could really understand what health is. Health is not a number on a scale. It's not when you stand together and your inner thighs don't touch. That was like my goal.
Say it louder for the ones in the back.
That's not
Right?
health. That's not health.
Preach
And
it,
I
sister.
was sick. And so I ended up going through a period where I just became comfortable with who I was and what I looked like. And so all of that has informed where I am. And I ended up feeling so healed from the restriction piece that I actually went into health and fitness. And I knew that was God saying, yes, I've healed you so much that now you can help other people.
Right.
And I worked as a personal trainer and I worked as an exercise specialist. And one job I had was at a weight management center for people who were really struggling with weight. And I believe God gave me that to say, look how far I've brought you. I've healed you. And now you can help people. But my background informs all of that. So I'm always trying to look at the positive of where we are. Like you said, what you've done today. I'm passionate about exercise, not just for calorie consumption, but I'm passionate about exercise because it's such a key to health and feeling well. Not it's really honestly the truth is exercise is not the way to lose weight. The way to lose weight is diet changes. But exercise makes you feel powerful and makes you feel healthy and makes you enjoy life. So I'm passionate about exercise. And once I started to realize that exercise is not about losing weight, exercise is about enjoying the body that God's given us and being maybe out in the outdoors or being with other people or enjoying music, that is what it's about, then we can do it.
Exercise also makes me less crazy.
It's therapeutic. It is therapeutic.
So therapeutic,
Did you see how she said
less right
Less
now.
crazy.
Yeah.
Because
I'm
we
still
know,
crazy.
yes.
I still got
Yes,
plenty of
ma'am.
it, but
That's why
it
we
makes
love
me
you.
less crazy. Yeah. What about you, Kel?
Yeah,
Because
so-
we've all kind of shared our personal stories.
Yeah, I mean, I've struggled with my weight since I was 10.
Yeah.
Always. I was like you, Tricia. I did exercise when I was probably 12, 11. Jazzercise. You remember back in the jazzercise
we pull
ages?
on our-
Oh, my
Yeah,
word.
so much fun.
Leg
Right.
warmers.
If y'all ever want to have a wet your pants experience, take me to an aerobics class. I am
Yes. Let's do it.
terrible at aerobics. And the only way I know to deflect is to be funny.
Okay.
And I've been kicked out of several aerobics classes.
I want to do that bungee cord aerobics.
Yeah, that would be
That'd be
fun.
super
We
fun.
posted that
do
video.
that.
That would be fun.
It'd be super fun.
Okay,
But,
I'm sorry I interrupted you.
So
Yeah.
I've done all the diets.
Yeah.
Throughout all my, I know more about what I'm supposed to do than anybody on this planet, I
Yeah.
think, but I am so lazy. I don't want to do it. I don't want to exercise. I know it's good for me. I don't want to eat healthy. I know it's good for me. I really like
Right.
French fries, and my body shows it.
I know. So let me tell you
You look
this.
great.
This is my biggest struggle. And I've told Tricia this before. I know it. You have to make an appointment to do it.
Yes.
She taught me that.
Oh,
She was like,
and
put
find
it
a
on your
girlfriend.
calendar. Find an accountability partner. But here's the key for me. I can go home from work and feel totally worn out, like I don't have anything else to give. I don't feel like exercising. You know what's the first thing I do when I get home? I put on my tennis shoes.
Oh,
Because if I put on
so
my
smart.
tennis
Yes.
shoes,
Yeah, you're
I'm
going to
do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that is the key for me. And Ella's like, but my daughter, she'll say, "Oh, you're going running, aren't you?" Because we get home, and that's the first thing I do because I know in my mind that I will follow through with it if I do that.
Yeah, we have a girl here at the office that puts on her clothes, changes her clothes here because she
Yeah, but
knows if
she's superhuman though.
If you go home,
but
she
she's a dynamo.
runs a 6-minute mile. I'm like, who does that?
Yeah.
And I several times have wanted to push her down the stairs because she runs a 6-minute. I'm just kidding. I don't really. I love Laura.
But there are two things you mentioned that I
Okay.
want to point up.
Okay.
That you've learned that
You've taught me.
well, I don't know.
Yes, you have.
You've learned it on your own, but the first is the reward from the exercise.
Yeah.
You may feel exhausted before,
Right.
But if you take a second and really gauge after, you're going to feel so much better,
Right.
that it's worth the before. But you have to, in order to get that, you have to maybe journal or really think through it. Sometimes I use the numerical system. Let's say it's 1 to 10. How tired are you? You get home and you're maybe an 8, right? You're 8. You're like exhausted. There's no way I'm going to exercise. So you make a note. I'm like an 8. But somehow you just, for the point of this exercise, for the point of the experiment, you put your shoes on, you do it. You get back and you feel like, oh, I'm at 5.
Right.
So I'm feeling at least 3 points better. Or
Right.
maybe you feel 3 or 2. You know, it's amazing. Or you maybe feel 7 versus 8. But you're seeing that there is a reward. There is a concrete reward. Now I'm talking that's physical. There's also a concrete reward emotionally.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
because then you relate to people better because you feel better.
More creative.
You're better off with your kids
Yeah.
or your spouse or
Yep.
So true.
your friends. And yes, you're more creative.
You don't kick the cat as much.
You don't,
That's
and
right.
you're going to eat better actually
Yeah.
after you exercise. It's just crazy how it works. So identifying the reward
Yeah.
through some sort of concrete system will help. And you also mentioned it too. Don't ask yourself how you feel about it.
Right.
You don't
No.
ask yourself how you feel about it. You put the shoes on.
So there's this
Yeah.
course I've been going through, John Acuff, Overcoming Overthinking. So he's written a book about it called Soundtracks. And he says one of his things is you're going to feel great when it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just keep that
And
thought.
so whenever you're thinking, I'm not going to exercise, you're going to feel great when it's done. Change that thought and then you know what? Wow.
That's just like taking every thought captive.
Exactly.
When we feel
Exactly
fearful
it
and we
is.
take the thought
Yeah.
captive that God says, I'm going to get you through this. I'm taking you by my righteous right hand.
Right.
You take that thought captive. You do the same thing with your physical health.
Yeah.
I don't feel like doing this. Oh, I'm lazy or I'm not the kind of person who exercises. No, you say, I'm going to feel better when I'm done.
Yeah, and set a goal. Goals have helped me tremendously. So I think I think both of you know this. So whenever the pandemic hit, I signed up for this race to go 400 miles. Now, 400 miles is a long way.
A long way to run.
But it wasn't 400 miles consecutively. I could run it on a treadmill. I could run it outside. I could use it. And
Or in 10 days.
right.
You had a long
Which-
time to do it.
Yeah, I did have a very long time. I'm not going to reveal how long it took me to do it.
Doesn't
'cause-
matter. You
Yeah,
did it.
you
right?
did
Here's
it.
the
did
thing.
it.
Here's the thing. When you set a goal like that, go ahead and invest a little money in it if you have the money, because if you got skin in the game, you're more
Skin in the
likely to
game.
do it.
Oh, yeah,
Because I'm
sure.
telling you, every day I was like, all right, how am I going to get my run in today? And here's the thing, too. I have this bad hierarchy of exercise. And like on long days that we have here at the radio station, if we're doing a fundraiser or if we're doing something extra here at the radio station, and I know I'm not going to get to the gym or get on the treadmill today because we've got a lot of things going on. A 10-minute walk still counts.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
see, that's one of my
Yes.
problems is I think if I don't go to a CrossFit workout, none of it counts. Like I didn't work hard enough.
You know what I love to do best?
that?
I like to dance with my girlfriends. I have 2 neighbors, and we will have this.
Is there video of this?
Oh, yes, but
There
I'm not
needs
ever
to
showing it to you.
There
Ever.
needs to
Ever.
be.
Ever. It's a secret. So one of them has a karaoke machine, and every once in a while we'll get
much
together
fun.
and we'll sing karaoke and we'll dance. And I am tired when it is over, but I feel really, really good.
What you're talking
Awesome.
about is finding the right kind of exercise for you.
Yes.
Don't give up if running isn't it or
Right.
walking
'Cause running
isn't
is not it for me.
Or spin class isn't it. Sometimes
The
dancing
devil
is
rides
it.
a spin bike.
Yes,
I'm convinced.
amen.
Spin is wonderful.
No,
I'm
it's
standing up
not.
for the
No,
spin.
and your hiney feels awful when you're done.
It just takes a little bit of
Yeah.
padding.
I got got plenty of patent, and I still don't like
No,
it.
yes.
But you got to find the right exercise for you. Don't give up if the spin bike isn't your
Yes.
thing.
Yes to the dance, no to the spin.
Yeah, here is the other thing.
Yeah.
I tend to be a little. I'm either all in or not at all. Y'all know that about me.
All or nothing
but
thinking. Very common.
Somebody might be listening to this podcast for the first time. And they're thinking, I wonder, is Carol all in or all out?
She's so moderate.
I know. She's never said no one ever. No one ever's called me moderate. But anyway, I'm either all in or I'm not doing it at all, right? So when I first started running, I would try to run a 5K. And I would get so frustrated because the first day I didn't run a 5K. I barely ran 5 steps, And I got turned on to this program called Couch to 5K, which is
I was just getting ready to say that. I love it.
I love that one
Yes.
too.
great.
Great
Also,
program.
Nike Run Club is a great
I like
place.
that one.
It's free. It's an app that you can get on your phone, and it talks you through. It talks about different things about exercise. But I started with Couch to 5K, and I remember this when my girl was still a baby, is that I would. My mom would come and sit with her while she was taking a nap, and I would go, and it was like 30 seconds walking, 30 seconds running. So I want you to hear that because I think our tendency is to think if we watch The Biggest Loser on television and we're not working out for 6 hours a day, that we're not accomplishing anything good. Anything that you can do to start today, if you decide to put us in your ears and go for a walk right now, that's a win. And celebrate every win.
It's a double win.
Yeah. And that's something that I've learned from you too, Tricia, is that everything's a win. Like on the days where I felt the worst, I would screenshot a picture of my workout and send it to Tricia. And she was always like the biggest cheerleader ever. She was like, "Oh, I'm so proud of you. You did so great."
It's fulfilling a lifelong dream for her.
I would come into the work the next day and she'd be like, that was awesome.
Well, and it was, and it was number one. Yeah. But here's the thing: even when you choose to exercise on the days that it feels the worst,
right?
That's like win squared.
I wish I had my bell. Ding ding.
That's really the best because most of the time, when you start exercising, you're going to feel better. But there are those times where you're just tired and it's not a great exercise session. Your body doesn't care. Right. That's just your mind. Your body's like, thank you. I really appreciate that exercise.
And it's true
all good.
That your mind is the great limiter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, your mind will tell you can't, and your body can, actually.
Your body can. Yeah. Oh, we can do so much more than we think we can.
Well, you talk about that mind being the limiter, too. That I find that with food.
Yeah.
That my mind says, I want to eat that French fry, but my body doesn't actually feel better when I eat the French fry.
Yeah.
But I do actually feel better when I eat the healthy foods.
I want to go to something that hits on that. When I started thinking about food as fuel instead of food as, eat to live instead of live to eat,
I'm so passionate about this. Yes. Yes.
It changed things for me too, because we're not spraying chickens anymore.
What?
And yeah, that's right. We're not there anymore. But the older that you get, the more you see those residual effects of the choices that you eat. I mean, I can tell a difference. And I never thought about it before when I was 25. I never thought about, I'm going to go eat these cheese fries and I'm going to feel like crud after I'm done. But now I'm more mindful of how things make me feel and and you would never drive up to a water spigot and fill your gas tank with water. You wouldn't do that because your car won't run right.
Yeah, well, and our minds tell us that things like broccoli taste bad. But when you start eating those kinds of foods on a regular basis,
so true.
They start tasting so much better. My gosh, Trisha's about to come out of her seat over here.
Somebody's
really excited.
I'm cheering you on. I'm like, spirit fingers. Keep going.
Yeah,
it's good. It's true, though. I mean, kale. They say kale tastes terrible,
love kale
and
chips.
when you start eating it, it really does taste very, very good.
Okay.
Yes.
This is what I learned. So I worked at this weight management facility for, I'm not sure how long it was. It might have been like 5 years. I can't really remember, but so I was the exercise person, but we also had the dietary person, we had the psychological person, and we had the doctor person, and we all just sort of talked about why is it so hard to eat right?
Right.
We talked about why is it so hard to maintain healthy weight? Food, we are being set up.
Yeah.
We're being set up to be overweight because of the kinds of food that are offered. So,
sugar.
Well, it's this combination of sugar, fat, and salt. And if you think about it, almost everything, all these delectable foods have some combination of that. And they know that it's addictive. And they put it in things so that you buy more of their products. And if you think about like French fries or
Pure evil.
Onion rings or any of the, whatever, it has some combination of those three elements that makes it's a mental thing. It's a chemical reaction, and it makes your body want more and more and more of it. And so there's this threshold that happens. So instead of eating maybe a scoop of vanilla ice cream, you go to, okay, I'm going to have Rocky Road ice cream. Then I'm going to have Rocky Road ice cream with chocolate. And then I'm going to have peanuts and whipped cream. Or, you have you're elevating your threshold every time you go to these highly processed, highly addictive foods. And that can be like the bacon double cheeseburger. All those things make you crave that same level of ping in your brain that happens when you eat these highly processed addictive things.
Right.
So the next time you don't want just a hamburger, you want the bacon cheeseburger and then the bacon double cheese, all of that. So here's what you do. You start back fresh. You have to cleanse your palate. You have to start exactly like what you say. You start eating the broccoli again. You start eating an apple again. You start eating the basic foods. And for a while, they may not taste good because they're not pinging you up there. But after a while, oh, wow, this apple really is sweet because you're changing your palate. You're cleansing yourself from the pings that you've been getting. So much of the time we eat for entertainment. Sometimes we eat for friendship. We eat for comfort.
I eat my emotions.
We eat our emotions. We're stuffing it in. We're stuffing it in so it doesn't come up on us, and we stuff it in. But the way to kind of work towards getting back to food being fuel and being back to plain food tasting good is you have to give yourself a week or so and just start eating some plain foods again. And I'm not good at this. I will eat a shoe if it has ranch dressing on it.
Yes,
I
you
love sauce. But the thing is, if we really want to work on this, we have to kind of get our palate back so where we're not so addictive.
Well, and I think here we get back to the roots of all this is so that we can live that abundant life that God has called us to.
There you go.
So
Think about Daniel.
yeah. Oh,
Yes.
absolutely.
And he and his 3 friends, and
Yeah.
they were supposed to eat the king's rich foods, which I can just imagine had lots of cream and butter, and Paula Deen was cooking for them.
Probably bacon.
And, yes, bacon, lots and lots of bacon.
I've never heard the translation that Paula Deen actually cooked for Daniel, but hey, maybe so.
It's the Kelly version.
Yeah.
So, and they didn't. They chose to eat the healthy foods, and they were stronger. They were healthier.
Yeah.
They were more fit to do God's service.
Yeah.
That's
So true.
so good.
So true. And so all of it is designed to get us back to that place where we're living that abundant life and we're able to do all God has called us to do.
For as long as he's called us to do it.
And I know you've heard that your body's the temple. I know you've heard that a million times, but it is true. And we want to keep our bodies in good shape so that we can serve God with everything that we've got. Do not hear from this podcast that, we want you to focus in on food or focus in on exercise. That is not the point. The point is that we want you to be able to do all God has called you to do and live an abundant life that he has promised and paid for us through his son Jesus. That is the point of this.
That's right.
And so I think we can come away with a couple of different things. One is start right here where you are today. If you had a cheeseburger 15 minutes ago, that's okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to choose a grilled chicken sandwich for dinner, or you want to do a grilled salmon because it's Tricia's favorite.
It is not my favorite.
So that's a joke we have
It's
in
my
here.
favorite, though.
Trisha's healthy, and so we always say, "Oh, we bet you love grilled salmon." She doesn't like salmon at all. So, but we start right where we are. Whether that be exercise or food, then make the next right choice. If you've not exercised for years, go for a 5-minute walk today. Take a deep breath. Leave your phone at home, unless, of course, you're listening to this podcast and you can take it along with you. But
We'd love to walk with you.
yeah, we would love to.
Yeah.
But I think we even have a playlist, don't we, somewhere?
We do.
of your
Yes,
songs.
battle songs.
Battle song. You can
On
do the battle
Spotify.
songs on Spotify. But I
Yeah.
think you made another playlist, didn't you, years ago for workout? A
I
couple
didn't,
seasons
but
ago?
I can.
That'd be fun to do. Let's try to
we
put
could do
together a
that for
workout
sure.
playlist. And I've got a couple songs I want to add on there that really get me juiced up.
Love
In fact, if I'm on the treadmill and I'm running,
Yeah.
I should not listen to those songs because then all of a sudden I think I'm like 14 and I can put it up to like 9, and that's not wise.
You should not.
I also should not run beside anybody in a gym on a treadmill who is 10 years or more younger than me because I feel like I have to keep up with them. That never ends well. So start right where you are.
Can I say one thing about the walk? And if you can't walk outside because it's hot or it's uneven, walk in your living room.
In place.
Walk in place. There's a gal, Leslie Sansone, who I love.
Yep.
She's fantastic, is in-home walking. You can do that. You don't even have to have her thing. You just walk around,
YouTube.
March in place, use your arms, YouTube her. Just and see that as a giant accomplishment, that God is seeing what you're doing and he's proud of you, and we are too. I mean, that's a great way to do it now that weather may be getting a little hot where you are, or maybe not, but
or you can just dance
inside,
or
dance.
Turn on some good music
Try
and dance.
some stuff. Try stuff.
Just try it. Just try it. We dare you. And we want to hear from you about this. You can always email us at girltalk@thelightfm.org. We would love to hear from you. Check in on the Facebook page. Check on the Girlfriends page. Wherever you want to contact us, we would love to hear from you. Want to say a great big thank you to Fox Toyota of East Tennessee for sponsoring this season of the Girl Talk podcast. We love you, Fox Toyota. Thank you so much for believing in us and believing in this podcast. We really do appreciate it. And that's going to wrap things up for this episode of the Girl Talk podcast. We'll see you next time we gather around these microphones.